And with that, we've hopefully kind of cleared the area for the most part. And let's just let Auto Explorer take care of the rest, shall we? I was about to say, there's something, an object of unknown appearance and origin, just wandering about on the other side of the wall. And more javelins is definitely a pretty solid trick, or solid treat rather, for me. That's what I was originally going for. Beautiful. And you're probably fire resistant, aren't you? Because I keep blasting you with our fireballs without much avail. And it does make sense in the overall context there. I guess if you live in a place that is constantly wreathed in holy fire, then you probably have a little bit of counteraction in mind or available to you. Sack of spiders is another sweet little tool for us to bring into the mix, especially with our Evo sitting at 15. Should get some pretty solid summons out of that beauty. And not too shabby. That's another rune under our belt, and again, just way smoother than our previous endeavors in Spider. So very glad, not just for ourselves, but for Natasha as well. And with those two out of the way, once again opens the question as to what exactly we want to do next. In general, you know, it'll be our usual flow. We'll probably go to vaults, then to depths, then think about third rune, then maybe into Zot for the final shebang, the big finale, the grand show. But is there anything else we want to potentially try and fit in before then? I'm looking at our elf here. Because we don't have electricity resistance, so not really. Which does pose its own certain level of risk, even in vaults, because too many Thunder Hulks are going to be a problem. In general, not having any willpower means that Vault Sentinels will probably be dropping marked status on us left, right, and center. But might just have to pull the trigger and see how things go. Again, we unfortunately just don't really have any options at our disposal in that department. So I guess away we go. Do another quick check-in on the spell front here, see if there's anything else we want to bring into the mix. I mean, Dispersal would probably be useful to have. It's a nice little bit of utility to have in the back pocket for if and when things inevitably start to go horribly wrong. Rignia's Noxious Bog. Again, that would have been nice to have in Spider, but probably a little bit too far along for that to have ever really been a feasible option. Oh man. Long weeks definitely catching up to me. Though it probably doesn't necessarily seem too out of place that I'm yawning in general here, since the majority of streams I'm talking about the less than ideal state of mind I am in, and that is oftentimes attributed to my terrible sleeping schedule, which will likely never get too much better just because of my brain's inability to accept the fact that sleep is a valid and important part of self-care. You know, which it's not that I don't believe that, of course, because that is just objectively true, but the big point for me is that sleeping takes time. Time that I would like to be spending doing things that require me to be awake, unfortunately. Let's definitely bring you upstairs. Glad we did, as the mark does inevitably come down as expected. Oh my gosh, we finally get a scroll of teleport back. It's a gosh darn miracle, folks. Let's drop all of our weapon enchantment scrolls, the branding and enchant weapon, just because probably don't really need that at any point in the near future here. And you kiddos could head right this way, please and thank you. Right, I do need to remember we can reach out and grab you. That's a very critical part of our overall kit and conditioning here, so that is wonderful. And that should just about do the trick. Holy. Well, potentially the big thing, some of the big factors at the very least of our previous couple of zones and encounters is less so that Spider was objectively a horrible nightmare, and potentially also had a lot to do with the fact that I wasn't fully leaning into all of the tools at our disposal. I wasn't taking full advantage of all of the spellcasting that we're able to perform here, and so very happy to hopefully be making some progress in that regard. Okay, we do have some cold resistance. I don't know if it's enough, and we did just get this teleport scroll, so I don't really want to use it to try and get out of this situation, but things are starting to get a bit nasty. Other option, of course, sack the spiders, friends. And all of you can just go a little bit ham, please and thank you. In fact, you know what? I'll let you have the honors of taking care of our last enemy there. That was wonderful. Great work, folks. I can get caught in the webs of my own friends. That's something that's relatively important to take note of. Oof, and how do I deal with this son of a gun? Might involve some silence. Let's reach out and grab you first. And then I'm guessing silence does affect it, right? You can warning cry, but that's fine. Sentinel's mark will be prevented. So we can silence up at great risk to our own well-being, as is always the case, I guess, when you cast silence. That is one of those things that I should probably be doing a little bit less so on the willy-nilly side and a bit more on the cautious front, but hey, I guess it worked out there, so how could I possibly have been wrong even in the slightest? Again, that's definitely how probabilities work. Just don't think too much about it. I freaking knew it. Looking at that alarm trap, and I was thinking to myself, oh, I feel like there are decent odds that becomes a problem. And yet I still decided against my better judgment to just wing it. We'll see what happens. Should be fine, they said. But we'll keep reaching out and grabbing all of you, of course. And in fact, is there anything else that does the trick? I could fugue, of course. And then continue to just reach out and grab ya. The getting pushed back is going to be very annoying as I continue to try and turn the tides of battle here, at least to the best of my abilities. Okay, that's not horrible. We're up to 5 stacks on the fugue here. Ooh, but we are out of magic, which means no more reaching out and grabbing you as far as the game is concerned. At least not immediately, but we finally regain enough magic, and then let's just keep blasting our way through these sons of guns. I don't like that this Convoker is about to phone a friend. Unfortunately, I don't know if there's a lot we can actually do about it. Silence is a level 5 spell, of course. Well, looks like this encounter is just going to be going on slightly longer than originally intended and planned for, unless these javelins can deal just some absurd amounts of damage, which they apparently can, so never mind. That went beautifully. I mean, considering that we kind of went into this situation in a spot of trouble with marks hitting us left, right, and center, definitely can't complain. Amulet of Reflection on that son of a gun as well. Means that we had to be slightly more cautious than we otherwise might have been. But no real issues. I probably will drop this amulet. I'm fairly happy with our current regeneration one. You, my friend. Okay, I was just about to say if I can get into striking distance where you're not able to call down lightning, then we may just be fine, and that did end up being the case, which I'm very grateful to see. And oh gosh, I'm getting spider flashbacks. Minus 16 corrosion is not going to cut it, so for the moment here, we just sprint away. We run for our very lives. And either the corrosion is going to run out, or we get to a stairwell. And it did run out before we managed to make it too far along. So that is perfect. Okay, I don't actually know if I can reach out and grab you now that I see it in action. Or, you know what? Never mind twice. Because I can indeed do just that. Do I have anything that's great against you, my construct friend? Not so much. Can at the very least just walk away. And then potentially, I guess, we have lots of boomerangs. Let's see how some old-fashioned, just high physical damage treats you, shall we? Perfect. Oh, and you had a friend as well. Beautiful. Companions in ranged combat in the next curse from Ash here. Probably not too much of a vested interest in either of those. Can you... Okay, you're not the banished one. I'm still not quite at the point where I recognize the new wizard sprites on site here. But that's fine. And... what? Let us actually... Tin of Tremor Stones to just try to simplify this situation a wee bit. Not too bad. Okay, I did not realize we're having company arriving from the other angle as well. That's not exactly ideal as we get overly drained by our new friends as well. Hello, my frost giant pal. Oh me, oh my. Trapped and surrounded on all fronts, hey? Do I use one of my rare teleport scrolls here? It's always funny when something as common as a teleport scroll you find becoming your rare commodity to treasure and hold. But can definitely just continue blasting you Kidlywinks for now. In fact, you know what? Let us use a few of these javelins, shall we? And try to take out the healer first. I guess it was the frost troll, or frost giant was our #1 target, but they were getting hit no matter what, so that was just fine, going as expected. Holy moly, well, not too bad, all things considered. Swap back to our boomerangs and our quick quiver, and then just jump once more into the fray. And life is looking half decent. I did let myself get trapped, which is not ideal by any stretch of the imagination, but hey, not the end of the world either, at least so it would seem for this moment in time. We're doing okay. Beautiful. Definitely grab some stuff. We're up to 10 scrolls of revelation, so we should just be magically mapping any floor where we feel even the slightest urge to do so. I guess even if we don't, just knowing that we have the ability and opportunity to do so is in its own right fantastic. As we continue to just sprint our way through. At least for Vaults 1 here. Ooh, what am I doing? And this is what happens when you continue to hold autofight keys without really watching what's going on. I kind of forgot that many-eyed orbs even had the ability to do this, because I feel like generally by the time I get to the later stages in the game and we're coming across them, I'm already a bit more well-versed in defensive willpower category, but hey, it is what it is, and this one is apparently lasting a long time. Oh gosh, will I ever go back to Gnoll form? I guess becomes the question that we must ask ourselves. Holy moly. Well, a few bits and bobs throughout the level. There's our many-eyed friend. Can I beat you in pig form? I shouldn't be trying, by the way. Don't do this at home. Actually, how much damage can you do, my friend? You can Mind Burst at a 41% chance. I probably shouldn't have been teasing you a little bit there in the first place, so apologies. That's my bad. Highly disrespectful. But let us go in for one final attack there. Wonderful. I was hoping that would be plate armor of willpower, because then that would at least get us thinking about changing things up, though I'm a bit afraid as to what exactly that would do on the spell casting front here, switching up to plate armor, that is. But how are we doing with shapeshifting? Up to 14.5, so still a little bit of ways from going full dragon mode, but it's coming. It's on its way, at least. Not too bad here. So I guess we continue in vaults. Are there any changes that I should make before heading on downwards? I think not. Let's just do it, folks. After all, it worked so well last time. Reach out and grab the lot of ya. And you know what? Instead of heading that way, ooh, I do like, we just got elements in retrospection. And you know, I was gonna say I would like to explore down this direction, not even noticing that that is not possible. So, whoops. But okay, let's reach out and grab you. Then I want to make sure that that Convoker doesn't get off the opportunity to phone a friend. Beautiful. And let's just jump back to it, shall we? Formless jellyfish, still one of those enemies that I don't really know how to rate them in my head. For the most part, they seem to just be a pushover. But I feel like that might just be some like survivorship bias creeping its way in, and they actually deserve a little bit more respect than I throw their direction. Let's hope not, though. Hopefully I'm just right and they are a one-stop shop, no problem whatsoever. Wouldn't that be lovely to have an enemy that we didn't have to worry about constantly? One can dream, I guess. And in terms of enemies we don't need to worry about, I would say this Entry Weaver unfortunately does not fall into that category, and I am very concerned with you, my friend. Part of the entire reason that Spider went to hell in a handbasket. I think that would be fair to say. But there we go. We wait off the corrosion. Not too bad at the end of the day here. Reach out and grab you, kiddos. And beautiful. Okay, I should keep an eye out fighting those slimes as to how exactly they, how much they condense into each other. Hey, Halt Catch Fire, doing Vaults 5 for the third. You know, it definitely wasn't originally on the agenda. Is there a chance that Natasha might be able to? I think we'd need a little bit more AoE in order for me to feel comfortable doing it. Might have Dragon Form Manifold Assault up by that time, so I won't say no. At least not a hard no. But chances are that we'll likely be going for one of our usual Rune 3s here, so either Slime or Abyss. Especially since we have a decent amount of regeneration on this character, and even though we're engaging in some amount of spell casting, we are, I'd still say, largely... Oof, didn't think your lightning could hit me from that many squares away, my friend. Don't love that, and we're starting to get a little bit more surrounded than I'd like. Dispersal, actually slightly bad. as well in this context. Just because it puts the Thunder Hulk into danger territory. Do you know that Convoker is going to successfully complete their call to there. Their phone a friend action has been done. Let's make sure we kill them. Oof. Which I don't think we actually did there. I think they just went back around the corner. There you are, you son of a gun. I knew it. But we didn't leave anything upstairs unexplored, so we should be fine. Also, I forgot to say hello back to you, Roboteal, as well. I hope you're doing well. I hope the birds are well, of course, too. And not too shabby. Yeah, I was very much ready to just retreat there, but kind of glad that we didn't, because overall, this is still very manageable. Beautiful. I guess there still wouldn't have exactly been any harm in retreating, and that's something that I feel like I forget all too often in this game, is that sure, it might not be strictly necessary to take some level of precaution, but is it a good idea? Probably. Those questions definitely by no means always fall under the same classification of answer. There we go. Horrible thing, not the end of the world for us, so very happy to see that. That bodes well for our future at the very least, if and when we make our way to Zot. And again, the game is doing its very best to remind me of all the hard times that we faced there in Spider. It's an ungodly number of spider packs, at least for what I generally expect to see here in vaults. You clean their cage, the bird's cage today, and put them in a carrier to come with you, so they got to go on an adventure. Oh, that's fun. That's very cute. Well, I definitely hope they enjoyed the little adventure together. Plus, hey, sure, it's always nice to have a freshly cleaned cage as well. At least I know I feel that way with my office here, which for all intents and purposes essentially is my cage as well. I spend the majority of my time wasting away here.